Sorry for the wait, y'all missed me. It's your head honcho Grim Absol Dark 61, and welcome back to another video. So, I was scrolling through ScaryForKids website and decided to go to their science fiction section and see if there's like any more scary stories. And well, check it out. They do have some sorts of scary stories like this. There are sorts of scary stories. Like there's a lot. Like to be honest, I'm pretty sure that Scary for Kids must have like thousands of scary stories that everyone can read. Well, yeah, that's what I'm pretty sure of. Like that this website has at least like 1,000 scary stories. But anyway, but this will, but anyways, this will be the story I'm gonna read for you. But either way, yeah, this will be the story that I'm going to be reading for this video. And this one is interesting to me because it's called Red Triangles. It just like this in the picture. There's just like numerous of red triangles, exactly just like the title. Well, let's see. It's basically a scary science fiction story about a woman who is awakened in the middle of the night by a mysterious phone call. The story is told in the form of a phone conversation. Okay, well, so it is told in the form of a conversation from a phone. Well, let's get into it. Let's see how it, this makes me even more interesting on this story. Like wondering what would be the reason for this story to be called Red Triangles. Well, let's get it. Let's do it. This is the Red Triangles. Enjoy. You're doomed this night. All you can do is brace yourselves. All you can do is brace yourselves. It was the middle of the night, and Irene was rudely awakened by the ringing of her phone. She reached out to switch on the bedside lamp. When she looked at the phone, she saw the call was coming from a number she didn't recognize. Irene, hello, a man. Oh, hello. Thank God. Where are you? Where am I? What? Who is this? Who is this? Never mind. The main thing is that you're alive. I'm sorry. What? You're still alive. I'm desperate to find someone. Aren't we all? Good night, freak. She hung up the phone. Less than a minute later, it began to ring again. Hello. Listen, it's me again. For God's sake, don't hang up. I just want to warn you. Do you have any idea what time it is? Maybe I should call the police and report you. The police can't do anything. There probably aren't any police to call. Irene hung up the phone. It started ringing almost immediately, and she picked it up again. You again? Yes, it's me. You're the stubborn type, aren't you? Please, you've got to listen to me. Maybe I seem crazy or drunk, but I'm not. I'm just scared to death. What are you scared of? What are you so scared of? Do you live alone? What? Are you alone in the apartment right now at this very moment? Goodbye. No, don't hang up. Will you listen to me if I try to explain? You promise to listen. Listen. No. Well, then at least tell me, is your TV on? Why do you want to know? Just indulge me, please. I beg of you. No, my TV is off. Is your computer or laptop on? I don't have a computer. Good move. Good move. How about your windows? Are all the doors Are all the windows locked? Yes. If so, you're. It's so. Yes. So if you're planning on trying to break in, you're out of luck. Well, that's good, but it's no guarantee of safety. If you don't say something sensible, I'm going to hang up and go back to sleep. Don't hang up. I'll explain everything. I promise. Just give me a moment. Are you listening? For as long as I can endure your crazed ramblings. Thank you. You know, when I went to bed last night, I had no idea there was anything wrong. I had no idea there was anything wrong. Just like you, I came home from work, ate my dinner, watched TV, and then went to bed. I always turned off the TV before going to bed, and I always closed my windows. And I don't own a computer. Maybe that's why I'm still alive. Why would you? Why wouldn't you be alive? The triangles. The triangles? What triangles? The red triangles. What the? What are you blabbering about? That's what I'm trying to tell you. I was woken up somewhere around midnight by the sound of screams. They were coming from the apartment next door, so I got up and went out into the corridor. My neighbor is a drunk, and sometimes he makes noise at night. I wanted to tell him to shut up and go to bed. That's when I realized it. What? I realized that the screams were not only coming from my neighbor's apartment, but all the apartment neighbors, but all the other apartments too. Probably every apartment in the building. I could hear another sound as well. It sounded kind of like bubbling, like semol like semolina cooking in a pot, and there was a munching sound as well. Munching, 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 and the cries and screams grew more and more muffled. Get to the point. I knocked on the neighbor's door. I knocked really loudly, but he didn't open the door. Then I moved on to the next apartment, but they didn't answer either. I kept going down the corridor, knocking on all the apartments, but nobody answered. It was deathly silent, except for the bubbling and the munching. Then I came to the apartment at the end of the hall. The door was wide open. And, and, it scares me even now to think about it. What did you see? Triangles. Oh, for the love of God, what triangles? The red triangles. They weren't very large, but just about the size of my fist. But there were so many of them. They were everywhere. They were swarming. They were swarming around the apartment, streaming out of the computer monitor and the TV screen. They were swirling around in the air and hovering up over the bodies. The bodies? They were laying on the floor. There was a man and a woman and their children. The red triangles were swarming around them like flies, penetrating into their noses, their mouths, even their ears. I saw it with my own two eyes. The people were writhing around in pain, clutching their throats and thrashing back and forth. They were spluttering and choking and gasping for air. It was horrible. And then, right before my eyes, they turned inside out. Inside out? There was a sickening snap, like when you pull off a wet rubber glove, and suddenly they all turned inside out. Their bodies were still twitching, but they were little more than huge chunks of meat, bloody, glistening meat, and their internal organs were all on the outside. Their lungs still inflating and their lungs still inflating and deflating, their hearts still pumping, the blood still flowing through their veins just on the outside. It was the most disgusting thing I have ever seen. What kind of nonsense are you trying to get me to believe? It's not nonsense. I swear. If you don't believe me, just go to the window and look. There must be millions of them out there flying around in the air. No, wait. No, wait. What am I saying? Don't go near the window. They'll see you. Come back. Are you there? I'm still in bed. Clever. Well done. Well, whatever you do, don't go near the window. or the TV. If you saw what the triangles did to those bodies, it would make your hair stand and on end. I ran back to my apartment and I just managed to lock the door before they got to me. One solitary red triangle managed to slip through the crack before I got the door closed. It was quite large and as red as blood, but thankfully it was alone. It would try to get into my nose, but I caught it in my hand, and when I was able to snap it in half, it broke open and its blood spilled out. The blood is gray, which is strange if you think about it. I can't imagine why this could be. Yeah, yeah, that'll be weird, like seeing gray blood. I'm tired of listening to this nonsense. I think maybe I really should call the police. Maybe they'll send you to a nice psychiatric hospital where you can entertain the other patients with your stories. Go ahead and call them. Be my guest. They won't answer. I tried to call them already. They're all dead. Everyone in the city is probably dead. You and I may be the only ones who had left. Why do you think I called you? Why do you think I talking to you, a complete stranger? Because I already phoned all my friends. None of them answered their phones. I called all my relatives. No answer. I called every number in my phone. Nobody is answering. Then I just started dialing random numbers and eventually I stumbled across you. Well, what are they then? These triangles? How would I know? You listen to my story. Now you know everything I know. Maybe they came from another galaxy or from another dimension. I, I told you that they come out of the television screens and computer monitors. You know what it reminded me of? There was a a science fiction show on TV where I was a kid. Maybe you saw it too. You know the one where the evil aliens appeared out of the TV screen? I think it was called The Things from Dimension X or something familiar. It was pretty cool if you're a fan of science fiction, which I am, or at least I was. But it, but I guess I still am. Yes, I'm sure you are. Well, us sane human, us sane people have to get up for work in the morning. So if you don't mind, stop calling me. Farewell. No, please. You promised not to hang up. I don't want to be alone. We're the only ones left. You and me. Please. Irene hung up. Irene hung up the phone and put it on mute. With a sigh, she rolled over and got out of bed. Pulling back the curtains, she looked out of the window and stood there for a moment, lost in thought. It was almost morning, but it was still dark outside. She listened. The streets outside were deserted. Not a creature was stirring. It was quiet, too quiet. The, the apartment building was also deathly quiet. From all the apartments, all she could hear was a deafening silence. Then she looked up. The sky was filled with thousands, millions, billions of tiny red things. They soared back and forth, floating and hovering over the city, scattering briefly among the clouds and then returned to formation. Triangles, red triangles, carrying death. Irene Irene gasped in terror and quickly closed the curtains. She grabbed her phone from the bedside table and crouched down on the floor. She called the first number on her contact list. There was no answer. She called the next number and the next, but nobody answered. She began to shake with fear. She kept calling every number, but they just rang and the calls were unanswered. Eventually, someone answered and Irene laughed out loud with joy. Hello, Natalie. Hello? Hello, Natalie. Oh my God, I'm so glad you answered. It's me, Irene. Um, did you take a look at the clock? Do you know what time it is? Yes, I know. I'm sorry. I just had to call you. What's going on? Are you okay? You haven't seen the triangles? What triangles? The red triangles. Um, wait, what? That's it? That I guess that's how the story ends. Like with Irene saying the last message, the last sentence with the red triangles, and probably, and I guess, okay, I guess that's how the story ends. I'm pretty sure that Eileen got taken away by the red triangles and died, just like with the other people, and just like how the man, and just like how the man from the other phone, from the call, tried to warn her about it, but she still didn't believe her whatsoever. Well, to be honest, I'm not. To be fair, guys, I'm not a fan of science fiction. I mean, I've never seen any science fiction movies or any kind of stuff that its genre is science fiction or anything. But let me go. But let me know what you guys' favorite science fiction show or horror movies in the comments below. But alright, guys, so that was the red triangles. Looks like that explains why the story is called the red triangles. Because they're about like millions or billions of small red triangles scattering, soaring in the air around over the city in the sky, taking over taking over the world. Yeah, but alright, guys. Yeah, so that was the red triangles. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, comment, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. But they and but overall this was really a nice scary story. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.